While the Confederates are losing in the East, they're losing in the West. Why not try New Mexico? Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And unfortunately, Prospector, the week starts off with a little bit of bad news, although it's like one of those silver lining things where it's bad, but is it really that bad kind of thing?
Okay, so does it end with good news then? Because we've been doing the good news, bad news bit.
Yeah, I mean,
past couple weeks.
it's. I would say that the Confederates finally have something going for them this year, which is probably the most that they've had going for them. But it's still not. It doesn't really mean much. And but let's get into it.
All right, what happened?
So the week's going to begin on February 21st when Confederates are going to attack Union positions around Fort Craig in the New Mexico Territory near the town of Val Verde. 2,600 Confederates, led by Brigadier General H.H. Sibley, will advance against Colonel E.R.S. Canby. On the morning of the 21st, Sibley is going to send out 4 companies of his cavalry and advance to scout the fort. They're attempting to cut the fort off of water supplies from the Rio Grande.
Okay.
And Canby gets advance warning of these movements from his scouts and dispatches a mixed force of artillery, cavalry, and infantry to meet them. So when the Confederates arrive, the Union is actually already there and already outnumbering them, and they're like, "Oh, let's go ahead and start a battle."
Oh, so they engaged anyway. They didn't tuck tail and run, huh?
They don't tuck tail and run, and instead of using their fort, the Union using their numbers to their advantage and driving the Confederates off the field, they just like form a skirmish line and are like, "We're gonna fight them as pickets." Like,
we're just gonna settle down and just shoot at. Like, that's like defensive type. Like,
yeah,
just overrun them, make them turn back. Right.
Yeah, at that point, they were far outnumbering the 4 companies of Confederates that were at the scene, so they could have easily outnumbered them and pushed them off. This will slowly dissolve into a bigger battle as reinforcements come up from the Confederates. By the afternoon, the Confederates actually are now outnumbering the Union troops that are there on the field. But the Confederates' artillery is completely useless because they're using howitzers, mountain howitzers, small 12-pound cannons that are designed. They're smoothbore. They're designed for. They're really good to like get into hard to reach locations to have some type of artillery there. But as far as like an artillery to artillery duel, they're far outgunned by the Union guns that are on the field.
So they're just like a smaller, like a pocket version of what the Confederates or the Union is carrying.
Yeah, exactly.
And so so that affects range mostly, or
they have a limited
size, or
they're smoothbore and they have a limited range. So they're very good in close quarters. If you can get the gun real close up, use some canister rounds, very effective anti-personnel weapon in that regard.
I would imagine most cannons are very good up close.
I mean, yeah, all cannons are good, but that's what these howitzers are really designed to do. But they're being outranged by the Union guns. The Confederates at this point are actually armed mostly with shotguns and pistols because most of their force is actually cavalry. So they're riding on the ponies, so they don't have muskets or rifled guns.
Yeah.
And the Union positions are actually 300 yards away, so they're not really doing a whole lot of damage to the Union positions, even though they outnumber them.
So they're sitting there just wasting ammo, basically, that is falling 50, 100 yards short or whatever of the Union lines.
Yeah, well short. At 2 p.m., the Confederates attempt to charge against the Union right that they thought was an inexperienced militia, but it turned out to be regular troops from Colorado that withstood the charge. Colonel Canby is going to call up more reinforcements from the fort, and by 4 p.m., has the battle pretty much underhand, so it's looking pretty good for the Union. In fact, it should have been an easy win, as the Confederate reinforcements that were due to arrive are in desperate need of water, and the Union has control of the river. So the reinforcements of the Confederates arriving are
thirsty from the travel.
Horses are thirsty. They need some water, and the only water supply is controlled by the Union.
Y'all should have carried it with you.
But Canby, he's too cautious and thought a full frontal attack wouldn't work.
Why?
So he focuses on the Confederate left.
Why?
I don't know. So he moves his artillery from the left to the Union right, which proved to be a fatal mistake because as he's doing this, the Confederates on the Union right decide to charge.
So So it's like
they're flip-flopping.
Yeah. And all right. And
that's been
so we're there. So we were attacking far fewer troops than we thought we were, and then getting overrun then by the Confederates on our
we
left.
Moved our artillery pieces all to the one side, and then the Confederates attacked the side where the artillery wasn't. So that's.
But we were attacking them too, but they were not there to attack.
Yeah. So what the Confederates wind up doing is, since the Union guns have been moved, the Confederates moved forces from the right and charged right down the center. And with those Union troops in the center, a lot of them being actual militia, they break and they rout. And once the Union center line's broken, well,
that's it.
That's all she wrote for the battle. The general retreats ordered back to the fort. Canby is able to get his forces back to the fort.
That's good, at least.
The Union is going to lose 68 killed, 160 wounded, and 35 missing, with another 170-ish saying, I'm done, and just leaving, just bouncing. Because you have to remember,
those are big numbers. They're up, 70, almost 70 people dead. Yeah. But it seems like it could have been
worse. The Confederates they themselves lose 31 killed, 154 wounded, and 1 missing. I do have to point out again, with the Union that did desert, you got to remember this is out in the far, far west. This is territories. These aren't states. And so, most of these guys that are out there had more experience fighting with natives than they did, fellow citizens, so to speak. Sure. And the loyalties isn't necessarily, New Mexico's in the South. Loyalties aren't necessarily they're keen on the federal forces. And so,
they don't have a whole lot that they're fighting for, right? They're essentially guns for hire.
In some regards, in some regards they are. So the assertion doesn't really surprise me too much. Although it is very important.
What are we going to do? They're not a state.
Right?
Go find them. We're not gonna do that.
And it's not like we're gonna get any reinforcements out that way anytime soon. So they're kind of on their own anyway.
It'll take 3 months to get out there. Jeez.
Yes. Now, General H.H. Sibley of the Confederates, his whole goal here was to take the fort and then move on to California. That's his ultimate goal after taking Santa Fe. Sibley is going to abandon any desire to take the fort after this battle, however, give the field back to the Union, and then move on north to Santa Fe. So we'll see if he ever makes it that far north or even makes it to California.
Now, hold up.
Go ahead and guess probably not. Yeah, he had this battle. He won the field.
Won it. Got it. Bang. We have it. And then he bounced.
He just decided to bypass fort. He's like, I don't really need this fort to take Santa Fe, so I'm just going to leave it and go to Santa Fe.
Boy, oh boy, I hope that doesn't bite him in the ass in a couple of weeks or months or however long.
I don't blame him. I've been to Santa Fe. Nice little city. Got a couple good taverns and saloons down in Santa Fe.
And I've been out there. I heard it's all sand and hot.
It is sandy. It is hot, but they've got a couple of good taverns out there. I turned 21.
Stayed further north in the mountains looking for that gold.
Good call, Johnny. On the 22nd, the Confederate president, Traitor President Davis, T.P. Davis, has his inauguration where he says, where he's finally elected, because before he was just appointed, but now he's been elected.
Oh, so now they've officially elected him. I'm sure they held a fair election.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was fair. In his inauguration address, state, and I quote, "The tyranny of an unbridled majority, the most odious and least responsible from the despotisms, has denied us both right and remedy." So I don't think there's some irony in this, because T.P. Davis is a part of a country, of a group of people who rebelled against the majority.
Yep. Yeah, they said, hey, we're in a democracy, and the democracy happened, and then we don't like it, so we're leaving.
Because that majority is dictatorish, I guess. I don't know, because they're trying to impose their will upon the minority, which is what a democracy does.
Right. I feel like maybe he's taking a little bit of what's happened since the election with dictator Lincoln, and applying a little bit of that, because since they left, that despot thing's a bit on nail on the head.
Yeah, and speaking of traitor, or not traitor, but like dictator Lincoln, remember when Lincoln ordered
Not
the army of
traitor.
not traitor, yeah, dictator.
Love you, Lincoln. Sorry about your son.
Remember when he ordered the Army of the Potomac to move before the 22nd of February?
Yes.
That army hasn't moved yet, so Lincoln has some questions for McClellan again. On the 23rd,
McClellan's gone, right?
He's still
got to be fireable offense.
He's got to be soon. Yeah. On the 23rd of February, citizens of Nashville are abandoning the city in droves as Union troops and gunboats approach, with no real Confederate force in sight to defend the city.
Don't blame him. Yeah,
don't blame him.
Time to bounce.
Lincoln, in preparation of the victory, asked Congress to appoint Andrew Johnson as military governor of Tennessee. We haven't even we've just entered Tennessee. We haven't even gotten to any city yet, and Lincoln's already like, we won. We need a
military governor for that
of the state that we haven't taken over yet.
I mean, maybe if he says it enough and gets it printed in enough papers and stuff, it'll just be so.
People are like, yeah, all right. That makes sense.
Oh, wow, that happened. Oh, okay. Now who knew?
Also, Union troops are going to occupy the town of Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Oh,
so we have troops down in Arkansas now. Yeah.
All right. So So obviously out east, we're doing pretty well. Out west, pretty darn good. Kind of, in the middle of Tennessee. That's great. And now we're in the south. Also, we still have kind of the port area down in
North
Nolans
Carolina
or wherever.
No, we haven't got to Nolans just yet.
Oh, we're in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah. So
that's well on the way to New Orleans. And Arkansas is even closer, I would imagine.
Well, we do have the Fort Pickens down in Florida that's held.
There it is.
Too, so we got that. You're probably thinking of Fort Pickens.
That was it, I think. Yeah. This is looking pretty good.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
this is where the news is getting better. Yeah.
If we're tallying up scores, they got a victory, but they didn't do anything with it. They sent a bunch of letters home to some Union boys' families, and then left.
Yeah.
And then now we have people everywhere, and we are going to constrict them in this war soon.
Good news, Johnny, that good news is going to continue because on the 24th, General Buell begins landing troops on the north bank of the Cumberland River in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville.
Let's go.
We're going. The Confederate rear guard, led by Nathan Bedford Forrest, the coward who ran away from.
Sure do. He shows up again.
Donaldson. He bounces again, is what he does. The rear guard, the only troops that the Confederates have in Nashville, he's going to withdraw his forces to the southeast. So he's going to bounce a second time.
So he's just, now perhaps he just knows that his troops need conditioning before they're ready to fight. And so these are training exercises and getting more physical conditioning. So they just run a lot away from any battle that they should be fighting to protect whatever.
Put up some kind of defense. Come on.
Fire a shot on the way, but that's better than nothing.
Right. And on the other side of the nation, Johnny, in West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, the Shenandoah River, Union forces are going to occupy Harpers Ferry. They're going to take back the city and the arsenal, the arsenal that we burned when we left. We got the ruins of the arsenal that wasn't scavenged by the Confederates, but it's ours again.
Do you think they're going to rebuild it?
Maybe. We'll see. It's ours again, though. That's all. Hey, we got Harpers Ferry.
We have a burned down arsenal.
That
has been looted, no doubt.
Yeah, self-burn. It has been looted. All the manufacturing tools have been shipped to Richmond already. Yeah,
all the heavy metal stuff that survived
all the tools to make that guy the 1855. Yeah, that's now down in Richmond. So
man, if only they had the materials that they needed to feed into those machines.
To build that on a rapid basis. Yeah, you're right. On the 25th, Johnny, Nashville is firmly within Union hands. The capital city in Tennessee has been taken without bloodshed, and
without bloodshed, we didn't even kill all the civilians.
No, we didn't kill any civilians.
That's
no,
amazing.
Yeah, we did. We just walked in.
It's like we realize we're gonna have to be neighbors and friends with these folks again. We just said, hey guys, we're here and we're going to make your lives better after we make them terrible by occupying your city.
Yes,
that's fantastic.
Fantastic. Yes.
Well done.
So with the fall of Tennessee, Johnny, the Union now has control of the largest zone of industry in the entire Confederacy. Nashville, Tennessee was the biggest manufacturing center in the whole of Confederacy.
What were guns and ammunition?
It just had the most factories. Yeah, the most manufacturing capabilities.
And
now we have it. So short of, the side of Richmond, like we got it. This is the biggest thing to have outside of Richmond, and we got it without losing a single person in the actual taking of Nashville itself.
Sure.
We'll ignore the
leading up to
battles up to it, but
let's not ignore them. I mean, the people who did give their lives played a pretty important role in all of this. Yeah, and I think maybe let's not just gloss over that. But yes, in this particular battle, we were able to not have any casualties, which is great.
Enough, that is even fewer supplies for the Confederates to have. Fewer guns, fewer clothes, fewer everything.
I mean, they're going to have to invent numbers under zero eventually to define how much supplies the Confederates have.
Yeah. They have negative supplies. Johnny, and on the 25th, Dictator Lincoln's at it again because he orders control of all telegraph lines to be turned over to the War Department to help facilitate military movements.
Hold up. They're taking telegraph lines. So I don't get any more telegraphs.
Mm-mm. You still can, but they're going to be under the military control. So the military,
which means they can see the telegraph that is coming to me.
Probably, yeah. I mean, at least their stuff takes priority. So on the 26th, Johnny, Dictator Lincoln is going to sign the Loan and Treasury Bill, which creates a national treasury note of the United States, of these United States. So now, in addition to the metal currency that we have and the paper currency that we have, we now actually have a national, instead of state banks, we have a federal bank treasury note. So,
what's that mean?
This just means it's another way for the U.S. government to pay for things. This note is actually going to be backed by the sale of stock. So essentially, the government is opening up bonds for any citizen to buy into if they want to, and that's what these national dollars are going to be backed by. So,
can I get any gold for it?
I don't know. I don't know that answer as of yet. I would stick to just my silver $50.
That seems safer. They're going to give you a piece of paper and say it's worth something.
Piece of paper and say it's worth something. Yeah, that's the idea here, and that's what our soldiers are going to be paid with, is pieces of paper with
dead
presidents on it.
I assume these pieces of paper are waterproof, right?
I hope so.
Or are they just all going to be destroyed when they're sitting there sleeping in their storms and shit?
And Johnny, this week is going to come to an end on the 27th with Confederate Congress granting President Davis, T.P. Davis, that is, the ability to suspend habeas corpus. So now the whole dictator stuff extends to the Confederacy as well.
He got jealous. That's it. All it is. He's like, whoa. I'm supposed to have the same powers as the president of the United States. I'm the president of the Confederacy of the whatever they're calling themselves. I need that. And so he wants them to. And so he now can decide to arrest any, I assume, pro-union supporters or whatever he wants, really.
Yeah.
Well, South, welcome to it.
Welcome to dictatorship. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoyed Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight. We talk about all kinds of fun things like the Battle of Fort Donelson and how an ex-robber got put into a museum with his body.